Baltimore, a city reeling from decades of drug wars. On its gritty streets, young Xavier Johnson, later known as Lor X, came of age. Born in 1990, Johnson grew up amid the high-rise projects and stoop-lined blocks of Southwest Baltimore. Authorities later described places like Cherry Hill as being terrorized for years by gangs selling heroin, cocaine, and fentanyl. Into this world of entrenched poverty and crime, Xavier found a voice through rap. By the mid-2010s, Johnson had adopted the stage name Lor X and begun recording music about the life he knew. His lyrics painted a raw picture of Baltimore street life, detailing his rough life in Southwest Baltimore. In 2016, he even gained notice from the Atlanta-based label 300 Entertainment. These early tracks, boasting of drugs, money, and survival, earned him underground buzz. He styled himself as Lor X, the South Baltimore Godfather, a persona that blended his hometown roots. Social media and YouTube videos show Lor X flaunting luxury cars and stacks of cash. To local fans, he was a gritty, authentic voice, real lyrically, reflecting a world they knew.
Niggas say X can't come in the hood. The fuck is they geeking for, man? My niggas love me, man. X can't come in the hood, Will. Ain't crazy, man. You feel crazy. Not big Baltimore murder lab, man.
In early 2017, Lor X's life nearly ended when he was shot multiple times in broad daylight on the streets of South Baltimore. The shooting left him hospitalized for weeks and forced him into months of rehabilitation. Rumors spread quickly through the city. Some said it was a robbery gone wrong. Others claimed it was the result of simmering street beefs. Lor X himself would later mention the shooting in his music, making it clear he wasn't hiding and that it happened out in the open for everyone to see. Surviving the attack only fueled his reputation on the streets. Not long after his recovery, in 2018, Lor X found himself locked in a heated feud with another South Baltimore rapper, Whiny Sosa, a beef that played out in diss tracks, threats, and rumors of more violence simmering just below the surface.
Huffin, what you on my dick for, yo?
Oh my God, bro.
Why is real shit, yo? What you on my dick for, yo? You ready to drop a song or something?
You getting on here talking about the wrong shit? Where your paperwork at? Where you try to hear all that?
Where my paperwork?
Where your paperwork or something? Show it.
Paperwork to what?
You get locked up. Where's the police report? Something, show it.
Fuck you mean, show my, what you want me to show you my paperwork? Or what? You act like I went to court or something.
You got arrested?
What did you say?
Where's your arrested?
You've been out for 10 years and ain't go to jail yet.
You can look, see, you sound like the police right now.
What did you talking about?
You sound like the police right now. We not doing
listen, yo, listen, fuck all that clown ass shit. What did you on got, yo?
Oh, man, I'm
what
gone, man.
In your mouth for, yo?
Man, you God, man. I'm God. Go ahead, own live. Start your own live. Start your own live.
But while all eyes were on the beef and the music, something bigger was moving in the background. State prosecutors would later reveal that Lor X wasn't just making music. He was building a new drug empire behind the scenes. By 2018, Xavier Johnson was identified as the undisputed leader of the network, providing funding, clout, and connections to keep the entire operation running. In court, prosecutors called it an illegal enterprise and said Lor X's rap career was the perfect cover. This was a major operation built on different layers, each person playing a part to keep the whole thing moving. There were street-level distributors out on the corners handling sales and making sure the product reached the customers. Trusted lieutenants managed crews, handed down orders, and kept everything organized. Stash house managers were in charge of hiding the drugs, the money, and the guns, making sure nothing got left out in the open. The drivers kept the operation connected, transporting everything and everyone without catching any heat. Every piece mattered. That's how the network stayed strong day after day. The organization, simply called the Enterprise in court documents, was scattered across Baltimore City. Its members were often Johnson's friends and family, lookouts, drivers, and street dealers who followed his orders. High-ranking lieutenants ran day-to-day operations, while Lor X moved in and out of the shadows. Investigators noted that Johnson routinely flew between Baltimore and Los Angeles, balancing studio sessions and drug deals on both coasts. At the Enterprise's core were stash houses, seemingly innocent apartments in downtown Baltimore, rented by operatives. Johnson himself ordered these safe houses. One press report describes how he directed a crew member to lease apartment 408 at 300 St. Paul Place, a waterfront high-rise near the Inner Harbor. Inside that apartment, deputies found heavy evidence of the trade: 2 kilograms of fentanyl, a handgun, and drug packaging material. In fact, prosecutors say Johnson's crew maintained multiple stash houses around the city, all stocked with kilos of fentanyl, packaged heroin, and firearms. Nearly all of the drugs they moved proved to be deadly fentanyl, or a mix of fentanyl with other opioids. According to Maryland's Attorney General, these quantities of fentanyl alone could kill 4 million people, enough to cripple the entire Baltimore metro area. In music videos and on social media, Lor X openly bragged about this life. He and his associates used the internet to broadcast, promote, and advertise their hustle. Johnson had turned his persona into a criminal brand. Even his rap stage name doubled as the gang's nickname. For outsiders, it may have looked like a flashy rap career, but police say every lyric was real to his streets. Meanwhile, the enterprise quietly supplied drugs to dozens of dealers throughout Baltimore. Veteran detectives compared Lor X's outfit to other famous city crews. Not an unorganized mob, but a tightly run operation that recalled the notorious Hillside gang that once terrorized Cherry Hill with heroin and violence. Johnson's empire only grew after early 2019. One high-profile member was Gerald G.J. Brown, a former Frederick Douglass High basketball star. Brown helped run one downtown stash house, but tragedy would follow. According to prosecutors, Brown said he was not going to go down after police raided that apartment, and days later, on June 7, 2019, Brown was shot and killed. In West Baltimore, Brown's murder was later listed by investigators as one of the gang's known violent acts. By late 2019, Johnson's group had attracted intense law enforcement attention. An eviction notice in November 2019 led sheriff's deputies to discover large amounts of fentanyl hidden inside a tenant's home. This was the key that unlocked the case. Over months of wiretaps and undercover buys, state and federal investigators mapped out the enterprise's network. They watched Lor X make pickup runs, oversee stash house swaps, and order deliveries. Officers noted that Lor X's signature broadcasts of gang signs, cryptic messages on Instagram coincided with raids and drug drops. Then, in October 2020, the net finally closed in. In a major raid reported by TV News, detectives arrested Xavier Johnson along with 18 alleged members of his crew on a 42-count indictment. They seized stacks of cash, 9 kilograms of fentanyl, heroin, and multiple handguns. Johnson was charged under Maryland's new anti-gang laws as the leader of the conspiracy. Overnight, the South Baltimore Godfather's free reign was over. Baltimore streets had seen many player-turned-poets, but Lor X's story was stranger than fiction. As police gathered evidence, the line between rap and crime blurred into one chilling tale of ambition and betrayal.
Feeling good today. We in trap. Fill my pot, boo. Whatever you pull out, you can have, boo. Just pull everything out. I ain't even gonna look. Just pull it out. You got my belt? 10. You can have that. I'm feeling good today, man. Go in my pocket. Go in my pocket. Go in my pocket. Pull out one bill, you can have it. Just one bill. You pull out more than one bill on the you can have it. Go ahead. Go in my pocket. Pull out one bill, you can have it. Just one bill. One bill, you can have it. One bill, you can have it. It's out. One bill, go ahead. Just go ahead. Just. You feeling good? We getting back to the community today. Let's go out pocket. Pull out one bill. Pull out more than one bill. 10. Oh, excuse me. All right. You good. You feeling good in the trenches today. Yeah!
Violence and armed showdowns followed. In December 2019, Johnson was observed giving drugs to a lieutenant, Tyree Holmes, and later that day, 2 of Holmes' crew were arrested with 150 fentanyl capsules and a handgun in South Baltimore. In January 2020, one gang member, Dante Jones, led police on a high-speed chase. He drove a car full of drugs at over 40 fents, crashing through curbs and trying to dump fentanyl capsules out the window before being stopped. Just weeks later, after another stash house raid, Johnson reportedly handed a pistol to an associate, a teenager named Jamontaz Mitchell, and then both men fled into the building to hide. These incidents showed Johnson's crew using firearms and daring escapes to protect their operation. By early 2020, police pressure intensified. On March 7, 2020, officers executed multiple search warrants on locations tied to Johnson's gang. At one address, 2801 Mulberry Street, an associate named Terry Jones was found with a stolen handgun and thousands of dollars in drug sales cash. In the same sweep, another stash site at 2819 Mulberry yielded $4.7 7 kilograms of drugs, mostly fentanyl mixtures, along with hazmat suits and drug packaging equipment. These raids exposed just how large and dangerous the enterprise was, with leaders handling weapons, heavy cash, and vast amounts of fentanyl. In July 2020, Maryland authorities charged Johnson and 18 others in a 42-count indictment for gang and drug crimes. The court papers detailed the violent and drug acts above as part of the conspiracy. Notably, no one was charged with murder, even though Brown's killing is described as an overt act of the gang. In September 2023, Johnson pleaded guilty to leading the gang and to drug distribution charges. By early 2024, he was sentenced to 15 years in prison, with most time suspended for his role in the fentanyl operation. Nearly all of his co-defendants also pleaded guilty or were convicted of related crimes, bringing many terms of incarceration for the enterprise members. In late 2023 and early 2024, the long-running Lor X case reached its climax. In September 2023, Xavier "Lor X" Johnson quietly pleaded guilty in Baltimore Circuit Court to leading a drug and gang conspiracy. Under a negotiated deal, Judge Lawrence Daniels agreed to impose a 40-year term with 25 years suspended, effectively meaning Johnson would serve about 15 years. Crucially, the judge bound himself to that agreement with the first 10 years of incarceration without parole, but warned Johnson that he would have 25 years hanging over his head as a contingency. The plea also left open a legal twist. Johnson retained the right to appeal an earlier ruling about tainted evidence in the case. His original attorney, Kenneth Ravenel, had argued that a deputy lied on a search affidavit. Ravenel's later disgrace, he lost his license after a federal conviction, led to a new attorney and the plea deal. On February 13, 2024, the courtroom was tense. Judge Daniels recounted Johnson's central role in the Southwest Baltimore fentanyl network and the gang's overt acts, including a 2019 murder, before announcing the sentence. He imposed 40 years, but immediately suspended the bulk, so Johnson would only serve 15 years. Daniels even turned quip into threat. He's going to have 25 years hanging over his head, he said. The judge leaned in to address Johnson directly. "I gotta tell you, Mr. Johnson, if you so much as spit on the sidewalk, I'll give you all of it." In those moments, Lor X himself spoke. He apologized, promised change, and vowed to use any second chance for good. After the verdict, Johnson told the court, "I promise you that when I come out, I'm gonna make a difference." His tone was earnest, a far cry from his gangster lyrics, and a reminder of the dramatic contrast between the public persona and these final moments in court. The official judgment meant Johnson faces 15 years locked up, with a decade of no parole, and the looming specter that the rest could be reimposed if he violates the terms. In effect, he would enter prison with a legal leash and a long shadow hanging behind him. Johnson, 33, has had no prior convictions on record. This was his first major criminal sentence. There were no other speakers at sentencing, no family testimonials, no victim statements were reported, and prosecutors simply affirmed the agreement. Johnson's new lawyer, John Cox, did not dispute the facts. All indications are that Johnson accepted this fate to avoid trial. As Johnson was led out of court, the long saga of the Lor X case, nearly 4 years in the making, seemed to conclude, but eyes quickly turned to the unanswered questions. Notably, prosecutors never charged Johnson with the 2019 murder of Gerald Brown, the local basketball star whose killing had been linked to Johnson's crew. Media reports noted that Brown's shooting was listed as one of the gang's overt acts in the indictment, but Johnson escaped murder charges. On the courthouse steps, a hushed question hung in the air. Would investigators ever fully explain Brown's death or Johnson's exact role? That question, plus talk of Johnson's suspended sentence, fueled rumors that he might have cooperated to some degree, though none of that was ever confirmed in open court. Meanwhile, none of the other co-defendants got similar public attention. Johnson's case originally named 18 other alleged gang members, but news outlets reported little about their fate. It appears many have quietly accepted lesser deals or remain in custody pending trial. One thing is clear, Johnson was treated as the big fish. No major trials of his comrades made headlines during this period. This lack of information spawned community chatter about what came next. Would others be rolled up? Or was this a singular takedown? Across Baltimore, reactions were mixed but intense. In Cherry Hill and other Southwest neighborhoods where Lor X had roots, some residents expressed relief that a notorious dealer was off the streets, especially one blamed for much of the local fentanyl. Community advocates, who had long decried the flood of drugs into their neighborhoods, treated the outcome as a victory for public safety, but others worried about a power vacuum. Local street accounts and social media buzzed with uncertainty. If not Johnson, then who supplies fentanyl now? Some older residents sighed that while justice was served in this one case, the underlying problems, addiction, poverty, violence, remained. In the Baltimore rap scene, the mood was somber. Peers of Lor X in the local hip-hop community offered condolences and cautionary words rather than celebrations. A few tweeted the judge's quote about the suspended 25 years and Johnson's promise to make a difference, reflecting on how precarious the path can be. No major Baltimore rap star publicly defended Johnson's actions, but neither did they simply villainize him. Instead, many used the news to raise awareness about addiction and the cycle of violence in the city. On Instagram and Twitter, hashtags like Free Lor X and South Baltimore Godfather began trending among fans and friends, blending support with heartbreak. One telling Instagram post by a promoter noted how Lor X's gritty journey from the streets had made him a local star, a reminder of how closely his music and street life were intertwined. Lor X's case was framed as part of a larger city crackdown on Southwest Baltimore's drug networks. Indeed, law enforcement did not ease off after his sentencing. Just a few months later, Baltimore officials announced Operation Tornado Alley, a massive sweep across Southwest neighborhoods. In November 2024, police and federal agents charged nearly 40 more individuals for trafficking fentanyl, heroin, and guns in the same general area. State's Attorney Ivan Bates hailed these takedowns as a significant victory that should send a message that Baltimore will not tolerate the street-level narcotics trade. Ironically, just a block or two from Lor X's old haunts, police found another stash house of pills and cash, evidence of just how entrenched the network remained. But that'll be about it for this video. Make sure you like or dislike, comment, and subscribe, and let me know down in the comments what y'all want to see next. And as always, stay blessed and stay well. Yeah, I'm out.